Good morning, everybody. This is Adeline from Mac Solutions. I'm with my colleague Santos today, and we'll go over the Cisco IoT portfolio. Mac Solution recently became a Cisco Partner Select or Select Partner, and hence we are offering this webinar this morning. Santos, I'll hand you over to Santos now. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope everyone's having a very nice Tuesday morning. What I just wanted to do this morning is run through what the Cisco Industrial IoT offering is. A lot of people have heard of Cisco, probably the world's single largest networking company, but a lot of people, especially in the industrial zone, don't realize that they have a full stack industrial offering as well. So just as a kind of brief overview of what we're going to go through today is just a quick touch on each of these kind of like key areas, just to give a flavor of the sort of things that that Cisco offer and where we can then sort of like support you and get some benefits for any projects or applications that you're currently running. So, I mean, the Cisco business model is vastly changing in the way that it is driving a model. So, for example, they are doing a lot of work within warehouses, roads, rail, industry, power, you know, every sector they have a lot of offering, whether that is product, software. What is probably one of the biggest things is the fact that a lot of the main head-end IT is predominantly Cisco. So I know it was a few years ago now, but they used to have it so that if Cisco turned off all of its routers, the internet would stop because they were literally running pretty much the entire internet that we all use on a day-to-day basis. We're all Cisco routers. But it's being able to then do that link between the industrial side into that IT side, which is really sort of driving these fast paces and change. So if we look at some of the things that you can do predominantly in warehousing, so you've got productivity improvements, faster order fulfillment, efficient operations. I know that one of the big success stories with Cisco was actually Harley-Davidson completely redesigned their entire manufacturing plant in the US using Cisco, because what they were doing is every Harley that was coming off the production line was pretty much unique. So they needed a system where they could get all the individual components, everything on time to be built in the speediest way possible. And the Cisco network delivered that while also being in that industrial environment. They're doing a lot around the roadways, whether that's a lot of smart signage. I mean, I think everyone, unfortunately, has been on roadworks lately up and down the UK. A lot of all of the building work and construction is all overhead gantries. All of these things need real-time communications. And then, of course, you've got rail, which is a pretty big one. Everyone likes to take the train, one, so they can then work rather than having to drive, but then being able to do that work and be connected online, whether that's listening to presentations or actually doing emails and things. All of these things are about getting increased loyalty, customer loyalty, and also being able to access data. So if we're going to quickly run through some of the industrial switch portfolio. So what not many people realize is the fact that Cisco has a very broad range of industrial products. If we take a quick look at the sort of IE1000, that's a light managed switch. Cisco doesn't do unmanaged. All of their products are fully managed, but they knew that there was a portion of the marketplace, especially in the industrial sector, where they needed something that was lighter than their typical full managed offering. So what they've done is they've created a light managed product. All of them are temperature hardened, they've got all the power options you can need, PoE, and they've all got a lot of certifications. So one of the key things is being able to have that confidence to put it into applications and actually then sort of like, you know that it's going to meet and survive. So you've even got full IP67 layer 2 switching. They're constantly investing in this. So the IE3400 is actually a brand new product that was launched, I think about maybe a year ago now. So they're continually pushing the envelope and making sure that they've got products that meet the industry needs and requirements. So some of the applications I kind of touched on a bit on manufacturing. So if you think about some of the world's biggest manufacturing and warehousing companies, so Amazon, they have a fully automated factory that is all using Cisco wireless access points within their warehouse to control all the robots that pick all of the products that come out of it. It's amazing. You've then got a lot with utilities, so very big within the US market, but also across Europe as well. They have all of the protocols that you would expect to see for a product that is going into a IEC 61850 environment, so substation environment. So they support the full Goose messaging, so generic object-oriented substation event messages. So you know that when you plug those products in and you set them up right, the fact that they're going to be able to deliver that critical infrastructure on time and be able to then get everything working as needed. Kind of touched on transportation, a lot around passenger information. If anyone's been on the London Underground, if you've ever noticed on some of the stations, you'll actually see Cisco wireless access points actually mounted, and they're what you will, give you Wi-Fi access underground in the London Underground. Oil and gas, long distance, extreme weather conditions, video surveillance, and also very big within the smart cities applications. This is due to them being able to link into the standard IT core and then be able to then drag a lot of those features and functions down into the industrial layer. So we're just going to do a quick run through of the main sort of product categories now, and just give a flavor for the actual offering that you can look at. So Cisco's IE5000 series is a true sort of backhaul IE aggregation backbone switch. 24 full gig ports, 10 gig options, highly ruggedized, really an absolute beast of a switch that can actually be sort of like deployed in the field, but also give that sort of core IT backbone throughput and connection standards. This is the unit that you can actually plug in your time synchronization. So they have a time synchronization module that you can add to this, which can actually then do the sort of 1588 PTP timing synchronization if you want to run that across your network. Generally, see that a lot US utilities because of the sheer scale. If they're sending power from East Coast to West Coast, there's a lot of real estate that they've got to kind of cover and make sure that everything is actually timed perfectly. Of course, everything comes with PoE, PoE Plus options, because they know the fact that these are generally the hub point within that network. So the IE4000 series is probably a slightly higher end DIN rail mount product, comes with options up to 20 full gig ports. Now, one of the things with Cisco is the fact that their sort of switching and routing function is well renowned. They're all pretty much every single port is full non-blocking. So if you want to have applications that are absolutely running the absolute max data traffic flows, then these are the switches that can literally handle anything you want to throw at them. Once again, they come with PoE options, quality of service, and as you would expect, they have a massive, pretty much all of the software features that you would expect from a fully managed switch. Then you can look at things like the IE4010 series switches, which is full gig connectivity. These are if you just need high port density in your industrial environment, and you can then also get them up to 24 PoE ports. These are, those sort of, if there's maybe mezzanine flooring, if you've got a lot of things that you need connecting into into a space, then these are the switches that allow you to actually be able to do and get all the connectivity you require. These are relatively new, so these have only been released maybe a year now. So previously they had a i3000 series, which was modular. So these are actually modular switches. So it's very hard to tell on a slide, but what you have is you have a main base unit, and what you can do is you can actually then clip on additional modules to give you the different port counts and the different port scenarios that you're after. So highly flexible. So if you're going to be doing expansions, if you want a standard base unit, but then you're going to want various different port combinations in different locations, you can then look at this i3400, and then you can have a main base unit. So you can have all the exact same configuration, and then each location you can just clip on the exact ports you need. And then if there is change needed in the future, you can then just sort of like quickly swap them out and then give more connection feature in that location. Some of the things is you've got NEMA TS2, and then you've also got ATEX Class 1 Zone 2. So these are for various hazardous environments, and of course AC/DC power options. And with a lot of these new switches, they're also leveraging the full power of their enterprise software platforms, so Cisco DNA software. So they're bringing that full enterprise IT function and feature, and they're giving you access to that at the industrial layer. Here we've got the i3010 series, which is very it's similar to the previous model, but what you've got here is slightly different port combinations with fixed 100 meg SFPs. These generally looking in the sort of substation market, but then they can be deployed anywhere. So what they're trying to do is give all the port combinations, all the feature sets that you're looking for. One of the things with this model is the fact that you have both front and rear LED panels, so that they know the fact that when they're being installed in industrial environments, not everything is in nice, organized, clean 19-inch racks. You have different products facing different ways, all these sorts of things, so they give you the options to still be able to then monitor and maintain your network, however you want to mount these products, whether they're in a small overhead compartment or sort of hidden away somewhere to be out the way on a manufacturing plant floor. The IE2K is probably the bulk standard workhorse of the Cisco industrial range. Gives great port diversity, so you have a lot of different port options with Power over Ethernet, but they also come with an IP67 version. These are also fully EM50155, so rail certified, so they can go on board. They've got the secure M12 connectors, and they're fully watertight once all the connectors are securely fastened. So they've been used in applications where there is high pressure hoses and things like this, where there's lots of water spray. This is what can give you that connectivity to power and maintain and monitor all of your network, but then still be deployed in areas where it's highly wet, high dirt, whatever the conditions can throw at you. These are the products that can be able to give you that connectivity. The Cisco IE1000 series, these are the sort of small light managed switches. So these are not quite as feature rich as the standard products, but what they're aimed at is that very edge connection. These are the ones that allow you to fairly quickly and easily just be able to then get some fast connection, do a small cable runs within factory as you're connecting up, or whether it's outside environments, and just be able to then link things together and still be able to do a managed network, so that you actually know what's going on with your switching. So I appreciate that it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the actual physical hardware that's going on, but there's so much to be able to sort of cover that I'm not even covering every single thing that Cisco offers. For that, you'd probably need about a 3-hour presentation, and I know that not everyone's quite got that time. But one of the key things when you're looking at the Cisco portfolio, it's not only just the actual physical hardware offering they have, it's that link into the software platforms. So one of the things that Cisco has is something called Industrial Network Director. What this does is this is a single, single pane of glass. So it's a single platform that literally can manage and maintain your entire Cisco industrial real estate. So all of your switching, routing, wireless products from Cisco. So it's designed as plug and play, zero touch. So we've got a couple of examples here. Easy to operate, gives you simple breakdown topology maps, great for configuration, whether that's backups, restores, software updates. Lots of really nice features. So the top one is the standard topology overview, which everyone is probably familiar with. But then what you can do is you can actually just select it and say, okay, just show me in that same topology view the VLANs, which is great because sometimes, over time, VLANs morph and evolve, and then me personally trying to diagnose and trying to understand what switches have what VLANs can be very, very difficult, especially if your real estate gets quite large. This, with a simple click of a button, you can then just essentially see all of the VLANing in a real easy to understand visual format, which is absolutely amazing. If you need to add to the networks, you know where what you need to connect to and things like that. So it's all about that, being able to easily understand and get the best out of your network. So some of the key benefits of it is real-time monitoring. So system health, metrics, traffic statistics. Everyone, I think, has probably realized by now it's that key goal of data is king. You can do a lot with hardware, but being able to understand and manage all of the data that is going across your networks is where you can really leverage a lot of power out of your network. Networks are no longer just about connecting things. It's about getting the most out of any asset. You want to sweat those assets, but everything that they've got. Long gone are the days where you would install one bit of hardware for one job, and if you needed another job done, you would just go and buy another bit of hardware. You want them to have multiple jobs, multiple hardware, and then be able to do that really effectively. You need the data to be able to understand how it all fits together and how you can get the best out of your networks. That's one of the key things that Cisco really does very well, is that whole data analytics piece. Improved asset visibility, knowing what's on your networks. I've in the past been to quite a few various locations, and there was always that surprise switch that we found in a cupboard somewhere. Being able to know exactly what's on your networks, that topology overview, alarm management, so you can see what's going on, detailed audit trails. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And the thing is, though, it's also got the ability to have APIs, so you can actually write your own sort of little scripts and things to go and be used into it. So really, really powerful pieces of software which use that hardened technology to the best of its ability. There's just the sort of switching side of things, but I guess the biggest thing that Cisco is renowned for is its routing. So they were the first company really to actually come out with formal routers as such. So what they've done is they've also made sure that they bring that full routing capability down into the industrial layers as well, because they know that with the way that modern networks are being designed, what they need to do, how they need to manipulate the data, you're going to need routing function at these levels. Long gone are the days of, it's all switches and we just have a single router at the point of which it exits the network. Now they want to be subdivided, do high-end functions, you know, really design out the network to get the best possible. And that means bringing routing function into the layer 2, what was typically a layer 2 environment, and being able to then bring those features into it. So what Cisco have done is they've taken their full routing capability and they've designed specific industrial products that harness the power of the Cisco router, but allow you for various different scenarios. So what you have is a standard LTE router, but then you also have ones where it's got a lot of edge compute. So if you're looking at standard IT networks now, a lot of applications, a lot of programs are being looked to be run on the actual switches themselves. So instead of having to have all of the data uploaded across LTE or Wi-Fi links to then be analyzed, if you can do that analysis on the edge, on the actual sort of like edge compute device itself, the switch, the router, you can save yourself a lot of time. And then if it can make simple decisions, you can then actually get some really, really clever things happening. So whether that's monitoring, and then if certain events happen, it can actually turn on and off actuators or valves and things to be able to save those precious seconds in critical environments, which a lot of this is to be able to then sort of push through and actually get the best scenarios. But what they've also done is they've also then incorporated things like gyroscope and accelerometers. Sorry about that. So a lot of these are then also being designed to go in vehicles. So I know that the IR829 has a very large deployment within, I think it's police cars out in the US. So if you were to open the boot of the police car, you'll see the fact that all of their sort of data communications are then kind of going into these routers to then be able to then go out and allow communication. But as you can imagine, they're driven quite roughly. If you see any of those police car chase YouTube clips or on the telly, they need to be able to withstand quite a bit of punishment and still be able to keep that communication up. So that's where Cisco has designed these routers for. A lot of other applications, I mean, I've kind of touched on the manufacturing, but utility, long distance connection, transportation, oil and gas. So very long distance pipeline monitoring, it's very big. So if you think about the fact that previously, a pipe used to just kind of stretch for maybe hundreds of kilometers, and then the first time they knew about a problem, maybe, oh yeah, pressure's dropping. Now they need to, they want to know exactly where, how far, what the issue is. Is it a break in the pipe for environmental problems? Because a lot of these pipes are transporting very harmful chemicals if they were to be, just randomly spilt on the environment, whether it's oil or, things like that, very dangerous chemicals. So they need to make sure that they've got real-time analysis of the fact that everything is working perfectly and precisely. And of course, a lot of these are in extreme weather conditions, maybe Siberia, very hot deserts. The temperature ranges can be extreme from one end of the pipe just to the other end, let alone various applications. And these routers are designed to be able to work in all of those environments. And then, of course, that smart city location, so whether it's intelligent traffic systems, citywide Wi-Fi. I know the fact that one of the big sort of smart city applications was City of Barcelona. They did a lot with Cisco with public Wi-Fi, intelligent waste management. They pretty much kind of rigged the entire city up to be able to make it one of the best tourist destinations, because it'd be clean, good connection, everyone, can gain access to any information they want. That's why you'll probably see a lot of conferences and things being hosted around Barcelona, because you'll see big conference centers, and then it doesn't matter whether you're inside or outside, you have full access on Wi-Fi, 3G, 4G, LTE, whatever it is that you're looking at, because they've invested in that infrastructure And Barcelona during the summer gets pretty hot, so it needed to be able to, handle those temperatures as well. Oh, apologies, I've lost my mouse. So I kind of touched on that IOX edge compute piece. So one of the things that Cisco is very big on is security. As you can imagine, their enterprise products get a lot of data. They're a lot of the world's biggest companies, and they get a lot of cyber threats. So one of the things that they're doing is really integrating into the security portfolio as well that they have, but they're also dragging it down. And one of the things that they're doing is trying to get that security into everything, including the industrial side. So whether it's data plane, control plane, application level security, they're sort of trying to drag all of that security that they're developing on their enterprise side and migrating into the industrial side, because they know the fact that a lot of people will look at the industrial platforms thinking they're a soft target. They may try the IT side and think, all right, okay, they've got a lot of security built around it. Oh, have they extended that full security package right the way down into the manufacturing plant floor? Is it an easy way in? So what Cisco is doing is making sure the fact that it's not that easy way in. They are literally pushing all of that security feature and function into the industrial environment as well. With that, you then also get manageability. So it's about application lifecycle, monitoring, making sure that there's the full visibility, scalability. I think everyone's seen the fact that within a very short amount of time nowadays, you can start off with a fairly small network, and before you realize it, you've got a very large network. And if you sit down on paper and design the two, they'd be very different. But how is it you can manage that transition from a small network evolving to a large one and still keep and utilize all of the advantages that your network can bring? Well, that's one of the things that Cisco's been doing for a very, very long time. And then, of course, that whole Internet of Things, that IoT, bridging IT and OT. Well, Cisco is a lot of the times the IT side. So bringing Cisco into your OT side is a seamless merger. You've not only got the fact that a lot of policies and applications and setup that you would have on your IT side can just be directly imported across and then managed from a single source, but it's then building that bridge between the two. So we also then have some really interesting routing functions. So with the Cisco 1000 series connected grid router, these can be either standalone or in this full IP67 enclosure. This is an actual pre-made sort of box by Cisco. You just buy it as is in that picture, and you can pole mount them. You can literally just stick them on outside side of buildings, poles in very harsh environment factories, and it gives full routing capability, whether that's RF mesh, WiMAX, cellular, you name it, as well as then gigabit Ethernet and everything else you would look at. So there's a lot of function that you can bring, and these are routers as well, so you've got a full routing capability. The other one as well now is the connected grid router, CGR. These are for predominantly, I've generally seen them sort of power grids, power grid networks, these sort of things. So full carrier class routing in an industrial application. These are bit of a beast. They give the sort of very high end Cisco routing function, but in a fully ruggedized box, which is absolutely brilliant. And then it also comes with things like VPNs, firewalls, quality of service, dual hotspot power supplies, all the things that you would expect to need on an industrial application, but also then delivering that full IT class, sort of like login. So if you were to get your head of IT to log into these, he'd be like, oh my God, this is just a a standard high-end Cisco router. There would be no difference on that side. It would just be the physicality of it. So one of the things that Cisco has been investing in recently is the cybersecurity portfolio. So recently they bought a company which specializes in industrial cyber security. So the product is now called CyberVision within Cisco, and what it allows you to do is monitor your entire network, and it'll actually point out any security intrusion that you can have. So one of my colleagues who specialize in this, I just sort of touch on it very briefly. We will be able to, if you're interested, run through and give a full detailed description. But what it is you can deploy sensors across your network. They sort of take a baseline of your network running, and then anything that changes, it'll then sort of like highlight and say, hang on a minute, there's data going from here to here, which never used to. You might want to take a look because it might be, somebody, seeing something that they maybe shouldn't be. That's only one small part of what it can do. So, but this is that thing of even, Cisco have seen the fact that the industrial side needs that, security envelope, needs to wrap its arms around it and say, okay, you need to be protected as well, because there's a lot of data. If people get in and start playing around with stuff, you can get some pretty big problems. So, they've gone out, bought, and also on top developed a really compelling sort of cyber security solution for the industrial markets. Right. So as with everything, Cisco also has a full wireless portfolio, but also aimed at the industrial markets. So they have full ruggedized enclosures, IPC7 indoor, outdoor, a lot with manufacturing, mining, transportation service providers. And one of the things is that if you look at the new wireless landscape, you've got things like Wi-Fi 6, which is the absolute brand new sort of wireless standards that are coming out. There are only a few companies in the world that have actually already developed and are selling IT-based products for that. While Cisco hasn't yet released an industrial version, they have got a full complement on their standard IT side. So they'll just be working out how to physically get that technology into a box so it can actually withstand the harsh environments. They've got the technology, it's just being able to, transition it into a box that can physically survive a mining environment and all this sort of stuff. But, if you think that, I think this couple of years old data, it was like the world's largest wireless reseller was actually Cisco. If you did just sheer number of access points, they're absolutely massive within the industrial wireless, and also the wireless community as it is. I'm constantly walking around hotels, shopping centres, and all you can see is, once you've, I know it's a bit nerdy, look around and notice stuff, you just see Cisco access points everywhere. It's like it's quite interesting as to what they're actually being deployed on. The other thing as well that Cisco has is a full LoRaWAN solution as well. So not many people realize the fact that they absolutely have a full LoRa solution as well. So they have additional boxes that you can then connect into your standard, whether that be switching, routing boxes, typically routing boxes, but then it gives a lot of that function to be spread out. So once again, full compliance. No surprise to understand that probably Cisco sits on all of these boards. Seems as they tend to invent a lot of this technology, and it's pushing the boundaries with full integration, whether you're talking dashboards, base station management, device management. One of the things that they're doing is every new feature that they bring out whether it's on industrial or IT or whatever, is they incorporate it into all of their monitoring solutions. So if you think about Industrial Network Director, that will be able to see and monitor a lot of this. Then you've got on the IT side, things like DNA Center, very powerful tools. There is a full link from their industrial side into that big IT overview platform, DNA Center. Bit more on the wireless gateways, fully IPC7 rated, dual power, geolocation, and also available globally. So they have models which work UK, US, Asia, the entire world over. So if you're looking at, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at small deployments, just a few, or massive global deployments, you can then have exactly the same product, and the fact that it's going to work no matter where it's situated. Right, and how are we doing? Not too bad. So one of the things that not many people realize is that Cisco actually has an embedded portfolio. You don't have to buy Cisco products in their boxes. They sell a lot of routing, switching, just as the single boards that can be integrated into products that you manufacture or use. So whether you're wanting to add some routing function, PCI routers, or just the physical cards themselves, with ports or without ports, there is options there. So not many people realize the fact that there is a lot of the Cisco technology which is inbuilt in things. So I think probably the main one that I never realized was that the old Sky Plus boxes were actually powered by Cisco. If you kind of looked on the back and the bottom and everything, it was like Cisco. Cisco was actually integrating technology into the old Sky Plus boxes. I don't think the Sky Q ones now, but the older Sky Plus boxes all had sort of inbuilt Cisco technology in them. So there are a lot of options there. So if you're not after pre-done switching, if you just want to integrate into products that you manufacture, definitely Cisco has options on that as well, which not many people realize. So the other thing as well is just software. So Cisco offers just software platforms of its routing platforms. So you don't even have to get Cisco hardware. You can actually just get the Cisco software to be able to run routing and other functions, which is quite a unique thing. I've not really seen that massively in the marketplace, but especially from someone like Cisco, not many people realize that you can just get router on a disk essentially, as a download. I kind of been throwing in little tidbits about security. So Cisco actually has a full industrial security appliance. So it is essentially a full mini firewall, but perfectly designed for the industrial market application. So you've got thermal temperature, you've got all of the services, like firewall, VPNs, NAT, all these sorts of things, and also be able to then integrate it into your industrial application. So believe it or not, we've kind of run through, I know it's a bit of whistle-stop tour, but just some of the things to highlight, I guess, is around flexibility. Cisco does offer a lot of different options, whether that's hardware, software, application-based, that not massive amounts of people kind of realize. There's that secure connectivity. Cisco has been investing literally billions of dollars in security applications, so whether that's firewalls and next generation firewalls, all these sorts of security protocols and products. They're investing heavily in that, and they're dragging it all the way across their entire portfolios, and that includes the industrial stuff. So, you know, they're really trying to get all networks with security features included in them. And I guess the last thing is that unified coverage. So they're trying to make sure that, you know, there is the option of having a single network. So rather than you have the individual IT networks and then you have your industrial OT networks, bringing the two together, you've got all of the standards, you've got all the products that you would need, but they are actually suitable, and then it gives that unified overall single piece, whether that's through dashboards and all new technologies. So this is probably the last slide, but one thing I would like to mention is the fact that a lot of people that that I talk to do mention the fact that, you know, pricing around Cisco. Yes, absolutely. As you can imagine, that they're probably one of the world leaders in various networking products, but they do offer a lot of competitiveness in the marketplace. Their global list prices, yeah, if you look at them, you might be a little surprised to see, you know, what products are, but if you come to us, we can definitely make sure the fact that we can get products that are suitable for various applications at prices that, you know, are comparable to others in the marketplace. You know, it's one of these, I think, little myths that, you know, Cisco just kind of sits there at the very top and just charges massive premiums. Not always the case, no. There are a lot of products and projects that, you know, are priced very competitive against a lot of other people in the marketplace. So yeah, you know, I would say just don't automatically discount it just on that sort of price point. Right then, I'll probably call it there. I'm within my 45-minute time. Hopefully everyone's been able to keep up. If anyone has any questions, I don't think we have any questions. If you have any questions, either please drop them in the comment box, or please email me or give me a call, and I'll be happy to answer them and run through more on the portfolio. I understand it was a bit of a fast-paced talk through, but it was just a quick intro, and if there's a lot of interest in specific areas, I'll be happy to do follow-up presentations, doing a bit more deep dive in certain areas. But from there, I'll thank everybody for attending, and I hope you all have a very, very pleasant Tuesday. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.